The White Lady of Salmesbury Hall has become almost monotonous in her perambulations within the hall itself, in the grounds, and even along the highway outside. Motorists claim to have picked up her filmy shape in their headlights. A serviceman encountered her while foot-slogging home after missing a late-night connection. Players and producers of pageants have spotted her gliding over the lawns. There is a distinct atmosphere about this venerable house, which Gilbert de Southworth began to build in the bosom of woodlands after a band of wild Scots had swarmed over the Ribble, set fire to the first Salmesbury Hall, down by the ferry, before proceeding to Preston, which town they burned in 1322. The de Southworths remained staunch Catholics through many different decades. Old Sir John, an Elizabethan, stubbornly resisted all attempts to convert him, though oft-times arrested and imprisoned. The tradition persists that it is the unhappy shape of his daughter Dorothy which hovers around Salmesbury, though genealogy does not support the claim. Poor Dorothy Southworth had the misfortune to fall heavily in love with a Protestant neighbour, one of the Hortons of Horton Tower, but because of the religious differences, the Southworths put every obstacle in the path of the young lovers, who were forced to meet by stealth, even to the extent of planning an elopement. Unfortunately, Dorothy's brother overheard them, and supported by friends lay in hiding at the scene of the tryst. When the bridegroom-to-be arrived, young Southworth sprang out and ran him through the heart, in full view of the anguished girl, whose happiness was permanently destroyed by a sword thrust. She languished in sorrow for the rest of her days, spent her last years in a convent, and died with the name of her lover still on her lips. The sad tale passed into the realms of legend, but the facts remain that the Southworths were active Catholics who sheltered notorious Jesuits and gave sons to the priesthood, including St. John Southworth, who was executed at Tyburn in 1654. There is a story that a priest was winkled out of his hide and slain in an upstairs room in the house. Persistent bloodstains on the old floorboards so upset the servants that they were replaced by a new owner in late Victorian times, but the room still has a disturbing atmosphere about it. The White Lady was recalled in the memories of an elderly colonel who was garrisoned at Salmesbury in 1878 with a company of soldiers. During the night he awoke to hear somebody crying bitterly and assumed that the occupant of another room must be in pain. He mentioned the incident next morning when, for the first time, his host related the story of the apparition, which glided about, weeping and wailing. It is also interesting to note that skeletons of two young men were unearthed nearby early last century, giving evidence to the tale of assassination here, long ago.